Okay, let's begin. Good afternoon, guys. So, the topic for today is motion, which is so the topic is motion, right? So, what do you guys understand from this, by the way? What are we going to learn in this topic? Anything you have read before about this? Okay. So we describe it, Arna described it as movement of an object, okay? So we say that movement, change in position is also a way by which I can describe. And what is also important is that it is with respect to time. Correct? I mean, in general, this is what we understand as motion. So, and we observe it in day to day lives. There are a plethora of examples which we can see of motion around us, and some of them is very visible, and we can do quite a few observations from the kind of motion which we see. So just to give you an example, and then maybe you can add a few, just to understand what all can be considered as part of motion. So just to give you an example, the simplest is like a bicycle on the road. A bicycle on the road is a classic example of motion. That's one example of motion. It could be a car, or it could be, a butterfly, moving in a random direction. That could also be motion. Yeah, something which we can easily see, make out, but we see that this is more like a there is something about this, and if you compare it with the movement of a butterfly, you would say that there is some difference in between the kind of motion which you observe for a cycle or a bicycle versus the kind of motion which you observe for a butterfly. And that it is more erratic. It is constantly going. It's not in a defined direction. Just like the way you would typically see on a road, that the bicycle is going straight up, or straight down a road. So there is at least some amount of so a motion is also described in terms of the way, the direction as well. So direction also plays an important role in describing motion as well. Some motion could be, if you take, then you must have done this also. If you tie a pebble, a small pebble, with a rope and swing it around, just like this. So this kind of motion is what we call as in a circular motion, basically. That means motion doesn't need to be always in a certain straight direction, or it can be erratic, but it can also be of type which is circular, where the object is moving around in a circle. Now there can be invisible movements, of which, I mean, not every motion is something which you can see with the eyes. There's blood in our veins which is moving. There is water which rises up the stem of a plant. That is also some amount of motion over there. And something like which you cannot see is like maybe wind or air. There is always a certain amount of movement of the wind always happening. but you don't get to see it always until and unless you see the indirect effect of it, like maybe the leaves are blowing, or the dust is blowing at the same time, or the trees are moving, swaying left and right. So through that you can experience or feel feel the presence of the motion of wind as well. Tornadoes, like cyclones, are also very, and they kind of have a circular motion, if you know what I mean. Cyclones are spiraling, they spiral around in circle, and at the same time they move forward. So something like, if you may have seen a top, the top, there are alternate names to it as well. I don't know what do you guys call it alternatively, but I'm referring to this. So if you're rotating this top on the ground, it would not only rotate in a circular motion, but it would also change its position left, right, and all around its position. It won't be at a single fixed place. So motion can be complex also, is what I'm trying to explain it to you. It can be visible, it may not be visible also. And some strange and perceivably bizarre form of motion which you may have observed is, like, if you are driving in a car, and if you look outside of your window at something which is distant, like maybe a shop down, maybe a hundred meters away. If you're going on a national highway and then you see a shop somewhere 100 meters away, what you notice is from the car that that shop actually swings past, like in the reverse direction. Have you observed that? So like, even if you see the trees, you'll see you'll see that the trees actually move. They appear to be moving backwards. Or you may have seen it on a railway station, that oftentimes what you see is that if you are in a train and that is yet to move, and if you see a train which zips past you in the direction, then what you would sometime observe is that it looks like to you that you are moving backwards. Anything like that have you experienced before? So these are what we call as relative kind of motion. Relative as in, when you talk about motion in terms of some other movement as well. So it's not always that a bird is flying, that kind of motion I'm talking about. You could be looking at a bird, you are stable here and you could be looking at a bird over there and observing its motion. But what if you are riding a bicycle and then observing a bird? So the case where the observing person, or what we call as an observer, someone from where you are observing emotion, is the observer. So you could be on a bicycle, the bicycle has an observer, or you could be in a car, so the observer could be in a car as well. So when you observe something uh, in a situation where the observer is in motion, then the movement of that object which you are observing is seen to be what we call as a relative motion. So it's in relation with the observer who is also in motion. So just give you an example, when you see, and there is a very common example of this, you know so the example I was giving of a relative motion is, actually, let's say there are two buses going on the highway, and what you see is that you may be in one of them, and this is the other one, And you could possibly see that if the two buses, let's say this is the front part of the bus with a cap, and if you see the two buses are approaching each other, and when they cross each other, you'll see that, you'll observe that they cross in a very small amount of time. Have you noticed that? That they just zip past like that. That's one thing. The other thing is, like, if the opposite case happens, like where the two buses are actually going in the same direction, and one of them is trying to overtake. So oftentimes, like, it looks like the other bus is almost like at a standstill. It is not at all moving. Like if you are sitting in one bus, and if you're observing this other bus, so when you are in one of the buses which is trying to overtake the other one, for some time you'll see that the other bus is almost like stationary. And when you are kind of overtaking, it would look like the other bus is actually moving back. Kind of something which you have seen, like you go to school, you have a school bus, sometimes they would overtake some other school bus also from your same school or different school. Yeah. Yes, no, maybe not that keen of an observation you might have done.
Yes, many a times.
Many a times, right? So that's also an example of relative motion, because if you look at what is happening is, whosoever is observing this scenario, they are also in a movement, like they are also in motion when you describe observing the other one. So so one important thing about motion is that a very classic case is that if you go from, let's say, your house uh, you know to maybe your school, and we say that your the school is like 10 kilometers from my house, right? Or I could say that the school is maybe uh, 4 kilometers from the bus stand. I could say that it is maybe 15 kilometers from the railway station. So if someone goes from house to school, he's going to take 10 kilometers of journey. If someone is coming from the station, he's going to do 15, and from the bus stand it could be 4. So depending on where you're starting from, you will have to take a different amount of movement in order to reach at the same place. It's the same school, but we're talking about different distances. So what it actually is also saying is that if you decide to move in whichever scenario, your point of reference is important, like where you're starting from. So if you're starting from the station, maybe you've come back from some outstation journey and you're directly heading out to school. You had your dresses and everything. So it's possible that you travel 15 kilometers on that given day. Or if you coming by bus from the bus stand, it would be additional 4 kilometers, or from the house, it would be 10 kilometers. So, so what the key point out here is, when you're describing a movement, one important factor which is relevant is what we call as the reference point, or the point from where you want to observe the movement or the motion. And sometimes we also call it as origin. And this need not be a fixed place. Like, I mean, as you could see, the reference point or the origin could be or from where I'm observing, or where I'm observing the movement or the distance is different in three different cases. So my reference point in this case is house. My reference point in this case is railway station, here bus stand. You know, or you could say that maybe airplane is flying and you are here, and you can say that maybe from here you could possibly say that it is maybe 8 kilometers away from where you are observing. Or the other could be that there is another person right here, and he observes that maybe it's 5 kilometers away from me. So depending on from where you are observing, your the movement or the amount of displacement or the position of the other thing could vary, right? So the point of reference or reference point, or what we call as origin, is an important factor when we describe motion of any object. Right. Now, the other key concepts around this topic are what we call as, something which we describe is motion in a straight line. Okay. So this is an important topic basically, which is a simplification of what motion is typically. Generally, this is too idealistic. Motion in a straight line. Meaning which, I mean, even if you are in a room, if I'm walking past like this, I'm just scrolling back and forth. I cannot say that I'm just, traveling in a straight line, It is a oversimplification of, to describe that I'm, traveling in a straight line. So, but it is important because it helps us understand. It is kind of the building blocks. It's almost like saying that if you want to understand real numbers, first you need to understand natural numbers, whole numbers, fractions, rational numbers, and then it makes sense to understand real numbers. It won't be too prudent for us if we were to understand real numbers right as the first topic. So motion in a straight line is kind of very fundamental. It allows us to understand a much more complex type of motion, as which we would eventually learn in higher grades also. Circular motion, rotational motion, those kind of observations would depend on some amount of understanding which you would acquire from motion in a straight line. Now, motion in a straight line basically means that, as the word itself is explanatory, you travel in a single straight line. So what gets qualified as this is like, someone traveling by a bike or a car on a road. That is an example of what we call as motion in a straight line. Sometimes this is very simply called as linear motion. Linear comes from line, and motion, as it says, like it is movement. So when you move in a straight line, that is called as linear motion. Okay. So the example, as I told you, you walking on a straight road, a bicycle going on a straight road, or a car going on a straight road, they are all examples of linear motion. A car going in circle is not an example of linear motion. जैसे आपने सर्कस में देखा होगा, एक कार को घुमाते रहते हैं एक वेल के अंदर. That's a circular motion. That's not a linear motion. Or if you're going on a roller coaster like this, that's not a linear motion. So this all falls under linear motion. Whatever it follows on a straight path. So what is happening is that during the journey, you are not changing your direction. You're not moving here and there. You're just going like this. जैसे हाईवे पे जा रहे हो, एक स्ट्रेट हाईवे मिल गया आपको एंड उस पर आप चले जा रहे हो, तो इसके ऊपर मूवमेंट या मोशन को डिस्क्राइब करने के लिए देयर आर टू की कॉन्सेप्ट्स मोशन इन स्ट्रेट लाइन. One of them is what we call as distance, and the other thing is what we call as the displacement. दोनों दूरी को डिस्क्राइब करने के लिए, हाउ फार इज एन ऑब्जेक्ट, हाउ फार हैज एन ऑब्जेक्ट मूव को डिस्क्राइब करने के लिए ही ये दोनों कॉन्सेप्ट का यूज किया जाता है, डिस्टेंस एंड डिस्प्लेसमेंट. So distance क्या होता है? Distance is like, if you are going in a car and there is a point over here, let's say A, and that point is maybe from here, इसको अगर मैं describe करूँ maybe 10 kilometers away. So ये मेरा 10 kilometers away एक point है. It's on a straight line. फिर क्या हुआ, आप इस कार से इस पॉइंट तक गए एंड देन आफ्टर सम टाइम यू डिसाइड टू गो टू अ पॉइंट बी, ओके, एंड देन विच इज अवे लाइक 20 kilometers further away from here, not 20, let's call it 4 kilometers away. Okay, so basically you start from here, which could be your point O, और जिसको हम बोल सकते हैं origin, क्योंकि that's where we are observing कि यहाँ से आप कितना दूर गए. तो एक origin से आप पहले 10 kilometers गए, फिर further 4 kilometers गए, and then you decided to return back and you stopped at a point, let's say C, which is kind of, from B to C is maybe 6 kilometers. And then after that, maybe you just stopped here for a night. यहाँ पे आप रुक जाते हो, ऐसा हो जाता है. तो जो distance है, distance is defined as the measure of the path or the total length of the path which you travel. तो अगर मैं distance की definition दूं आपको, तो it is actually the total length of the path. यानी ये इसमें जहां से जहां तक गए आप उसको मेजर कर रहे हैं. तो अगर आप O से C गए तो you first travel 10 and then you travel from C to you travel to A, it was 10, you travel to B, it was further 4. So अगर total length of path अगर C तक निकालें तो I could say that the path which I have taken is O से लेके पहले मैं A गया, और A से लेके मैं B गया, और B से लेके मैं C गया. ये मेरा पाथ है, right? So O to A I traveled like 10 kilometers, A to B I traveled 4 kilometers, and from B to C I traveled 6 kilometers. So the total path which I traveled from O A B C is 20 kilometers, and that is your distance traveled, right? Displacement, on the other hand, is kind of path ignorant होता है. पाथ के इसको समझ में नहीं आता, ऐसा लगता है जैसे आंख बंद कर ली उसने. So what does it mean? That अगर आप यहाँ से चले तो he would not care where you went or how you went. It would care कि आप ultimately कहाँ पहुंचे. So basically for it, the final position and the initial position are important. It doesn't care about the path at all. So meaning which that displacement is, अगर मैं displacement को describe करूं, so I would have to use here, the displacement can be described as you can say the shortest distance. Basically, it's the shortest distance between the initial and final position. Final position. Meaning which अगर डिस्प्लेसमेंट की बारी जाएगी तो इट वुड बी O टू C, सिर्फ और सिर्फ इतना, क्योंकि अल्टीमेटली आप पहले यहाँ बैठे हुए थे और फाइनली जब आप लौट के आए तो आप यहाँ पे जाके बैठ गए। आगे आपने क्या किया, आई डोंट केयर। तो डिस्प्लेसमेंट इसके हिसाब से हुआ, इट वुड बी जस्ट यहां से 10 था, 10 plus 4 is 14, आगे तक, यानी that is the maximum you went, and then you came back 6. So that would be like 14 kilometers in forward minus 6 kilometers in backwards direction. That gives you 8 kilometers. So he is like displaced. ऐसा लगे जैसे बॉक्स को खिसका दिया गया हो। I mean, डिस्प्लेस करने का एक्चुअल मीनिंग तो यही है, मैं यहाँ खड़ा हुआ और मैं अगले फ्रेम में यहाँ पे आके खड़ा हो गया। अब इन दोनों के बीच में मैं ऐसे ऐसे घूमते घूमते आया, या एक सर्कल लगा के आया, या सीधा ऐसे आया, इट्स नॉट इम्पोर्टेंट। ऑल इट मैटर्स इज कि पहले मैं यहां था और अब मैं यहां आ गया। तो मेरी इनिशियल वर्सेस फाइनल पोजीशन के बीच में कितना अंतर है, दैट इज व्हाट डिस्प्लेसमेंट इज। तो ये चीजें आपको लीनियर मोशन में स्पेशली विच इज अलोंग ए स्ट्रेट लाइन आप सिंपली इसी तरीके से निकालते हो कि आप डिस्टेंस के लिए जितने भी पाथ्स आपको मिलेंगे, आप जिगजैग जाओगे, ऐसे हो सकते हैं लीनियर इन बिट्स हो सकता है, जैसे O से A गए, A से ऐसे गए, आप यहां से C गए, यहां से D गए, और अगर ये है इनकी लेंथ दे दी जैसे 4 3 3 4, तो आप इसका डिस्टेंस निकाल सकते हैं। O to A to B, B to C and C to D. The distance would come out as O to A का measure, A to B and C, so 4 plus 3 7 plus 3 10 plus 14. So 14 meters हो सकता है, 14 kilometers हो सकता है, whatever. So this path could be described by some, आपके पास एक ऐसा टॉय है जो पहले ऐसे गया, यहाँ पे इसको कुछ रोड ब्लॉक मिला, फिर ये मुड़ गया इधर जाके, इधर यहाँ पे भी कोई खड़ा हुआ था तो फिर ये मुड़ गया, काइंड ऑफ ए रोबोट, लेट्स से। So this robot is moving in a zigzag manner, but इसको ये पता है कि जब इसका रास्ता क्लियर होता है तो ये सीधे ही चलता है। So this is linear motion, motion in a straight line, because the journey it is happening in bits is along a straight line only. अब इनका डिस्प्लेसमेंट की बारी आएगी तो आपको इन दोनों पॉइंट के बीच में दूरी क्या है वो जानना जरूरी है। जो यहाँ तो क्लियर हो गया था, बट यहाँ आपको पता होना चाहिए, unless and until you could say that O to D is maybe 6, तो आप बोल सकते हो डिस्प्लेसमेंट इज 6 meters not kilometers, राइट। तो बारी आई कि यानी अब इन दोनों को मतलब आप डू अंडरस्टैंड द डिफरेंस, लाइक हाउ इन व्हाट कॉन्टेक्स्ट डिस्प्लेसमेंट इज इम्पोर्टेंट, व्हाट कॉन्टेक्स्ट डिस्टेंसेस। तो कहीं ना कहीं आप ये देख सकते हैं कि दोनों वैसे डिस्क्राइब मूवमेंट को मैग्नीट्यूड मूवमेंट की कितनी वैल्यू है, न्यूमेरिकल वैल्यू उसको डिस्क्राइब करने के लिए यूज होते हैं दोनों, राइट। अच्छा, अब इनकी यूनिट्स की बारी आई, तो यूनिट्स तो आप समझते हैं व्हाट इज द यूनिट। तो अब बारी आई कि इसकी यूनिट्स की, यानी एक डिस्टेंस और डिस्प्लेसमेंट जो है इन दोनों की यूनिट्स क्या होती हैं। यूनिट्स में ये अंडरस्टैंड करना जरूरी है, जैसे हम बहुत पहले से देखते आ रहे हैं कि लेंथ इज मेजर्ड इन टर्म्स ऑफ लेंथ की यूनिट होती है, सेंटीमीटर होती है, डेसीमीटर भी होती है, there is meter, there is decameter and hectometer, and then you have kilometer also. बहुत ज्यादा लंबे और इससे भी बड़े डिस्टेंस मेजर किए जा सकते हैं, वो भी होते हैं। तो एक इनमें से यूनिट ऐसी होती है जो एक इंटरनेशनल बॉडी है जिसको हम बोलते हैं स्टैंडर्ड इंटरनेशनल, standards international, that's an organization, international, so it's probably a French body, बट ये दुनिया भर की खबर रखते हैं कि जितने भी फिजिक्स में क्वांटिटीज यूज होती हैं, अलग अलग चीजों के लिए जो क्वांटिटीज यूज होती हैं उनको यूनिट्स देना इनका काम है। तो इन्होंने डिसाइड किया कि जो डिस्टेंस और डिस्प्लेसमेंट है उनकी स्टैंडर्ड यूनिट इज मीटर। यानी अब आपको अगर मूवमेंट डिस्क्राइब करना है, मोशन डिस्क्राइब करना है, तो आप मीटर्स यूज करिए, दैट्स द स्टैंडर्ड यूनिट। हालांकि चींटी का मूवमेंट अगर डिस्क्राइब करना है तो मे बी आई मीन मीटर्स कुड आल्सो बी अ गुड थिंग, बट अगर बहुत ही माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिज्म है तो उसको मीटर्स में मूव करना इज नॉट अ वेरी प्रैक्टिकल थिंग। तो उनके लिए छोटी this value may seem a little large, but as a standard we still follow meters per second. तो चाहे कितनी भी बड़ी चीजें हम we can describe it in terms of meters, 10,000 meters, 100 meters, Mount Everest is described as 8848 meters। तो जनरल जो हमारे काम की चीजें उन सब में हम इसको यूज करते हैं, even though other units are pretty much possible to use as well, but this is the standard unit, right? तो अब एक चीज तो इसमें क्या है कि there are a few activities which revolve around जो इसमें दी हुई हैं कि आप इन एक्टिविटीज को समझ के इस मोशन को समझ सकते हैं कि नहीं। जैसे इसमें दिया हुआ एक्टिविटी आपकी है 8.3। If you guys can open the book and take a second to read it, you can maybe answer some questions from it. Activity 8.3. It says I'll give you a minute to read it and then we can discuss this. So इसके अंदर क्या डिस्क्राइब किया हुआ है कि आप बेसिकली एक बास्केटबॉल कोर्ट है, यू कैन से कुछ इस तरीके का, इस साइड भी होगा कुछ ना कुछ ऐसा ही, एंड यू टेक ए रोप एंड यू काइंड ऑफ ट्रैवल अलोंग द एजेस एंड डिसाइड टू रीच द ऑपोजिट एंड ऑफ द कोर्ट, ठीक है। और एक केस में you take the rope and go straight across the court onto the other end of the court, basically opposite end. Now in which case would you say मतलब distance और displacement के terms में अगर आप define करें तो which one do you think is the example of distance in this and which one do you think is the example of displacement in this scenario?
I think so. Displacement would be when we go from point A, from point to D to B, and distance would be when we take a round of the whole court.
Okay, आपको ये फाइनल जगह है, and you start from here.
So then D to A to B would be distance. That is how we will be able to calculate distance, and displacement would be D to B.
ये पॉइंट आपका O है। So as I told you कि distance is basically the length of the path। तो अगर आपने ये पाथ लिया है O to A to B, so that is actually the distance which you travel, right? मतलब आप एक केस में इतना डिस्टेंस आप ट्रैवल कर गए, right? अब when you reach here, if you look at from the opposite end, you ultimately move just this much amount. इतना ही आपकी जगह में चेंज हुआ है, ये ओरिजिनल, ये फाइनल। So O to B is actually your displacement। आप अंडरस्टैंड करो इस डिफरेंस को कि यू मे हैव मूव्ड अलोंग द एजेस टू रीच एट दिस प्लेस। तो आपने जितना लेंथ ऑफ पाथ है वो सारे O to A plus A to B, that is your actual distance. But ultimately what happened is you started from here and you reached here. So that is your final position. So this difference O to B is your displacement. And if I were to ask you the measure of it, like आप जैसे आपने रस्सी से मेजर किया होगा, O to A गए फिर A to B गए, इसको अगर आपने किसी रोप से मेजर किया एंड फाइनली फ्रॉम O to B अगर आपने एक रोप से मेजर किया, तो which one do you think is a bigger value, distance or displacement?
Distance.
So distance is usually the bigger value, like, because it actually accounts for all the intermediate paths which you may have taken. ये path, ये वाला path, आप पता चला आप घूम घाम के भी आप ऐसे भी जा सकते थे। आपने पहले एक पूरा राउंड लगाया, फिर आप बी पे जाके रुक गए, तो आपका डिस्टेंस इन दैट केस वुड हैव बीन O to A plus A to B plus B to, let's say ये C है, B to C plus C to O plus O to A plus A to B, ये आपका टोटल डिस्टेंस होगा अगर आप ऐसे गए वापस और फिर यहाँ बी पे आगे रुक गए, तो इतना डिस्टेंस आप तब ट्रैवल करें, बट डिस्प्लेसमेंट स्टिल वुड हैव बीन O to B। डिस्प्लेसमेंट ये ही रहेगा एज लॉन्ग एज योर फाइनल पोजीशन इज B, राइट। दूसरी चीज ये जो अभी हमारे सामने इससे क्लियर हो रही है कि जनरली स्पीकिंग डिस्प्लेसमेंट इज स्मॉलर देन द डिस्टेंस वैल्यू। इसका एक एग्जांपल मैं आपको बताता हूं। जैसे आप इंडिया के मैप में I'll attempt a crude drawing। तो अगर आप यहाँ पर सपोज जम्मू and you need to go to Trivandrum, suppose ये Trivandrum है, तो अगर आप जम्मू टू ट्रिवेंड्रम अगर आप जा रहे हो तो यू मे प्रेफर टू गो बाय, आपके पास ऑप्शन है या तो आप रोड से जा सकते हो या आप जा सकते एयर से, राइट। तो रोड से हो सकता है, रेल से भी हो सकता है वैसे तो रोड से अगर आप ट्रैवल करते हो तो व्हाट यू वुड डू इज यू वुड प्रॉब्ली टेक सम हाईवे गोइंग फ्रॉम डिफरेंट स्टेट्स and be able to reach the place, right? और जब आप by chance if you taking air from Jammu to Trivandrum, what will happen is the aeroplane probably, unless and until it is it has some fault somewhere, it kind of flies in a straight line and will try and reach Trivandrum as per the flight path। वैसे तो मैं भी यहाँ पे सिंप्लीफिकेशन कर रहा हूँ, बट जनरली स्पीकिंग इट वुड टेक द शॉर्टेस्ट पाथ टू रीच Trivandrum। So what you did by road is actually the example of distance, or I mean let me correct, air से भी ये भी कोई ना कोई डिस्टेंस फॉलो करेंगे। I mean he is not going to take straight line path, ऐसा होता नहीं है। So this would also be another distance, but if you locate, यहाँ पे जम्मू है और यहाँ पे त्रिवेंद्रम है, आप एक स्ट्रेट लाइन लीजिए और इन दोनों पॉइंट को मेजर कर लीजिए कि इन दोनों पॉइंट के बीच में एक स्केल से कि कितना डिस्टेंस है। मे बी इट वुड बी लाइक 10 सेंटीमीटर ऑन द मैप विच यू आर ऑब्जर्विंग, और फिर जो इसके ऊपर स्केल दिया होता है, कभी आपने स्केल दिया देखा है, मैप के ऊपर स्केल दिया होता है कि 1 सेंटीमीटर इज मे बी 100 किलोमीटर और समथिंग, कभी देखा है आपने मैप के ऊपर ऐसा?
Yes, in the case.
So this scale can be used to translate how much this value is. यानी इस स्ट्रेट लाइन जो आपने मेजर किया है उसके बराबर कितना लेंथ एक्चुअल ऑन इन रियलिटी कितना दूर है ये दोनों. So this distance what you would get is, let's say this, इन दोनों के बीच में distance is 10 kilometer, sorry 10 centimeter, and 1 centimeter, if it is equal to maybe 100, then what you can find is जो displacement है is 10 times 10 centimeter into 100, which means actually in kilometers this value would be 1000 kilometers. हो सकता है आपको रोड से जाने में यहाँ तक you end up 2000 kilometers, और एयर से जाने में आपको लगता है मे बी 1500 किलोमीटर, एंड द डिस्प्लेसमेंट इज 1000 किलोमीटर. तो आप देख सकते हैं कि दिस इज हाउ प्रैक्टिकली द डिस्टेंस एंड द डिस्प्लेसमेंट के बीच में डिफरेंस है. दिस इज जस्ट अ स्ट्रेट लाइन. जो डिस्प्लेसमेंट है इट इज अ स्ट्रेट लाइन डिफरेंस. जो डिस्टेंस है इट इज एक्चुअली द लेंथ ऑफ ऑल द पार्ट्स. अगर जैसे यहाँ पे ये जितने भी छोटे छोटे बिट्स में यहाँ पे स्ट्रेट लाइन मिलेंगे उन सबको ऐड करके, and this is what you actually get to see on the cars. Like अगर आप रोड से जा रहे हैं तो जो आपके कार के अंदर एक मीटर होता है किलोमीटर वाला, जिसको नॉर्मली वी से दैट इट इज कॉल्ड एज ओडोमीटर. इट इज इट मेजर्स द डिस्टेंस, क्योंकि वो सिर्फ और सिर्फ अपने कार के मूवमेंट को मेजर कर रहा है, एंड हाउ मच मूवमेंट it is observing, and वो जो वैल्यू निकलती है it is actually how much you have traveled on the road. तो ये पूरा जितना भी डिस्टेंस है उसको मेजर कर लेता है. Okay, so let's call it today यहाँ तक ही रखते हैं, और next class which would be on Friday we'll try and cover concepts related to what we have is speed, वेलोसिटी, एक्सेलरेशन, जो फर्दर कॉन्सेप्ट है जो मोशन को डिस्क्राइब करने के लिए यूज होते हैं. ठीक है.